we're going to make banana pancakes. So, grab your flour and we're going to sieve it into the bowl. 350 is what you want with this one. So just take out the numbers. A bit more. The reason you sieve it is because then there's no lumps. Oh, and a bit more. Not enough. That's us. And we've got flour. Then we've got baking powder. And not just 1 teaspoon. When it says a teaspoon, it's level in. And then a pinch of salt. Now I always do a pinch of salt on my hand first because otherwise you might lose it. Mix it in. And that's step 1 done. And now for step 2, I'm getting my ripe bananas and I'm mashing them into a bowl. You'll see I'm squashing them with my fingers to get them in first because then it's easier to mash them. Oh, they're nice and juicy. Get them in, all nice and squashy. They don't look particularly nice at this point, but they will taste good. They have to be really smooth as well, so give it some welly. Nice and smooth like that. And then we put the bananas. There's my milk already. I'm going to do it this way around because the milk bowl is bigger. So bananas into milk. Don't waste any. Ooh, that's a horrible noise. Then a teaspoon of the vanilla extract. Be dead careful because this comes out really easily. And if you put too much in, it'll be yucky. So that's my teaspoon in. And then the eggs. 1 egg. Add 2 eggs. Now at this point it doesn't look very nice, but then you whisk it together and it'll be much better soon. Gives it a really nice thickness. You see it's still a bit lumpy, so I'm going to do it a wee bit more and then we'll be ready for step 3. Another part of step 2 was to pour the wet things into the dry things, so that's what I'm doing here. And that will need a really good mix because you don't want it to be lumpy. So I've just put the heat on in my pan. I'm just going to let the butter melt a wee bit, get it all nice and round the pan before we start anything else. So you can see it is quite thick, but it's nice and evenly mixed. I've used a fork in the end because it was easier than using a whisk. So now what I'm going to do is use a scoop instead of, it says 2 to 3 teaspoons, but I'm just using one of these because it's easier again. If you don't have that, just do a teaspoon. And I'm popping it right in the middle of the pan. And then it'll come out nice and even. Hopefully we'll just get a nice wee shape. This might be a bit bigger than you're supposed to have. But all the more for me. And the other thing for you to know is the first one is always a bit rubbish compared to the others. So give it to somebody you don't like so much. So you're looking for these little bubbles to start appearing. It's probably a wee bit thick mine, so it's not quite right yet. But that's the point at which you want to turn it. And you might want a grown-up to do that bit because it might be a wee bit flicky with the oil. Bit brown, but not bad. Okay, so maybe my heat's a wee bit high, but it's definitely nice and brown on the other side. I think it probably needs a wee bit more on the inside if it's that thick, but I think you'll put a little bit less on. And then your instructions say to throw on what your favourite topping is, so I'm going for a bit of blueberries. And I'm just going to wait for it to cool down for 2 minutes before I waffle it down.